the CWCB Expo with Gary Cohen, the CEO of Cova Software, and he's going to explain to us a little bit about the company, what they do. So Gary, thanks for doing this. And so tell me about Cova Software. What do you guys provide to the cannabis industry?
Well, as you guys probably know, the legal cannabis side of this business is pretty complex between the states that have compliance requirements, different regulatory requirements, and as a small business owner, it's incredibly difficult to try to do everything right. So what Cova's done is taken this very complicated set of rules and operating procedures for running a store and really created a simplified software to help you be compliant and manage your store.
And it's different than, I guess, state by state. The software would have to be different because different states have different rules.
That's a great point. Not only is it different state by state, but even within jurisdictions in a state. This one part of Los Angeles makes all the stores close at 8 o'clock. Right across the street, it's 11 o'clock. So when we were building it, could we build in that functionality that allows an operator to set the rules of how their system works to meet those requirements? So could they stop all sales at 8 o'clock so that they're not out of compliance when they turn in their end of day metric report? Does it do all the sales stop on time? Because if they spill over, you're just self-reporting yourself to get a fine. So that's a very simple example, but what differentiates us, and we're a 20-year-old company with about 20,000 stores using the core software that Cova's built upon, the core platform. And this is the kind of industry where you have days like 420, where most systems aren't built for that huge volume. We're already built to scale. So we kind of came into this space to simplify these very difficult processes and bring best practices to store operations.
And
I could give you an example.
absolutely.
So this is what the bud tender would use with a customer. And let's say I came into a store, I've never been in a cannabis or dispensary before, and I don't really know what I need. So let's say I was looking to buy some flour. I've never heard of Afghan Kush. So I go ahead and want to go ahead and pick that. I want to buy 2 grams of that. There's something called seed to sale tracking.
Okay.
So every state has a different traceability system.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does is it measures, or it keeps track from seed from about 6 inches tall. You put a tag on,
right,
and then that plant, however it gets processed, whether it turns into a concentrate or a drink or an edible or flour itself, that tag needs to follow the plant all the way through to the point of sale.
right.
So we suck in all of those tags
cool.
as the store buys their product, associates it with the inventory. So I want to say, well, there's only 2 grams left of this particular batch. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that, add it to my cart. Now I want to go check out. So I just take it up to the cash register. It's $34.30. I'm going to go ahead and pay cash. The guy gave me $35. Take the payment, give him his change, and I'm ready for a new sale.
Right.
So what we've done there is not only the compliance piece, but a really quick sales transaction checkout, and it's all compliant.
Right. And this would be something that the worker in the store would go through, but could provide information to the customer too, I would guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've built into this entire catalogs with all the information about the strain, like if it's a strain,
Right.
you know, what are the attributes of it?
Right.
So does this make you sleepy or does it kind of perk you up?
Right.
What does it taste like? So what's that terpene profile? If we're in a state where you have to include the ingredients, so what fertilizers were used or pesticides, we can pull all that into the product description so that people know what they're getting involved with. The other thing is, and this is kind of, state by state, like you said, is different. states like Colorado, you can weigh the cannabis. I can buy flour, like loose flour. So let's say I own a store and I get a pound of Charles Kush. And now I want to break it into eighths, quarters, halves. And then what I have left in the shake, I'm going to roll into pre-rolls and sell those. Well, you need a system or a software that can take bulk cannabis, and you're creating new products, but you need to pull through all those tags to all those new products you created. It seems, I don't know if it seems simple or not, but it is complicated. And in this industry, when I open that 1 pound bag of cannabis, if I weigh it tomorrow, it won't weigh a pound. It'll evaporate, or in the weighing and the scales and the wrapping and everything we're doing, it won't weigh a pound when we re-weigh it. So the state expects you to account for every spec. So do you have a system or software that's going to allow you to subdivide it into multiple products, and then that difference, how do we adjust and report to the state? And every state allows some variance. They don't tell you what it is. But if every time you weigh something, you're always missing 10%, they're going to come talk to you. That's our goal. Is we don't want them to talk to you. We want to preserve your license, do everything the right way.
All right, so let's talk a little about the Call It Cannabis campaign. Obviously, there's a long-standing stigma around this plant, and an industry that now wants to broaden its appeal, and I'm guessing that's what this is about, but I'll let you tell me.
So the last conversation we had kind of leads to this, which is, as an industry, we're trying to legitimize everything we're doing. And one of the best ways to do that is to be very transparent and clear about what's happening, how it's happening, what operations look like, so that regulators, politicians, legislators can look in and say, they're managing this kind of scary new venture. And that there's a stigma. You can break down that stigma by doing that, by really being a good operator. The Call It Cannabis campaign came out of that. It's like if people are talking about pot, dope, weed, it just kind of keeps it down there. It keeps that stigma alive. So one of the things we're trying to do, and we've got a lot of other companies kind of joining with us, is let's just use the word cannabis. Because from a pharmaceutical medical perspective, it's cannabinoids that are kind of the healing property in CBD and THC that drives the whole legitimization. Medical leads the way for recreational to come in. And I think if we just start using that terminology that just helps destigmatize it and take the stoner edge out of it, it's kind of better for the industry.